always on the go, but the day just won't be one without your Hollywood fix. Let Golden State Media Concepts Entertainment Podcast take care of that. An all-inclusive look of pop culture.
Thank you for tuning in to the GSMC Entertainment Podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Podcast Network. I'm your host, Jessica, and I'll be sharing some of the top entertainment news that you just need to know. How is everybody today? It is a gloomy one here in Philadelphia. And when it's gloomy, like I am sure all of you, get tired. So I have been drinking a lot of coffee, so I most definitely have the shakes right now. I am trying my very best to keep my voice calm and smooth and not shaky. So do you ever do that? Just drink a little too much coffee, a little too much caffeine? I was thinking of switching to tea, but the only decaf tea that I have in the house is chamomile, and I don't want to get tired. But then maybe that'll just help mellow me out. I don't know, but it's a good day to just maybe sit and chill, maybe listen to some of your favorite podcasts, or maybe start a new book. I, for one, have been reading a lot lately, and I'm finding out that I really like World War II historical fiction. This is you really learn something new about yourself every day moment. I was never a big fan of history in high school. I used to always look at the history classes like all you were doing was learning dates. I don't know, maybe I didn't have the best teachers who taught history, but this isn't on them. It was probably just what they were supposed to teach us. But as I got older and wiser, I started to appreciate history a lot more. And in college, I was an English major. In college, I learned more about history through my lit classes than I ever did in any of my history classes. So I learn more when things are taught through stories. Anyway, so I never thought I would be a World War II fiction fan. Never thought that was going to be my jam, but here we are. So 2 books that I've recently read back to back is The Nightingale and Codename Helene. They were so fantastic. They were both stories that really just stay with you. They're both about women during the war. Excellent reads. Highly, highly recommend them. I also recently tried to read something that was set in present day, and it was so difficult for me to get through it. I couldn't get into it. I'm just stuck on this World War II kick right now. Maybe when I'm done recording this, I'll sit down, give it a try again. I will curl up with a blanket, maybe a tea, and just relax. Or who knows, maybe take a nap if the caffeine wears off. Anything's possible today. Absolutely anything. But before I do that, we have a lot to talk about. This is not a books podcast. You have tuned in to the entertainment podcast, and we are talking a lot today. We are talking about the Bachelorette Shakeup. We're talking Selena Gomez announces the launch of her makeup collection, and other celebrities that are just dominating the skincare market, as well as some shocking celebrity news, some robberies, divorces, and hookups. Oh my! And at the end of the episode, I am going to honor some of my favorite seasons of The Bachelorette. So stay tuned. But right now, let's jump right on in. So let's start off with the big news in entertainment right now, and that is Tayshia Adams is confirmed to be our new Bachelorette. So this is some really wild news coming out of the Bachelor franchise. Claire started her journey almost 3 weeks ago, and rumors started swirling around last week that Claire was ready to call it quits because she had already found the love of her life on the show, and she was done. She didn't want to pretend anymore. So after much speculation, fan favorite Tayshia Adams is confirmed to pick up where Claire left off. Now, the show was supposed to start production back in May, but due to COVID-19, plans had to go on hold. At this point, the cast list had already been released to the public, so Claire had a chance to take a look at her suitors. I think Claire and her man started talking back in March and already had established a relationship before filming started in mid-July. When it came time to start filming, rather than having a season where the cast gets to travel the world, the season would is taking place at a resort in California. It's rumored that Claire had decided, you know what, this is it. He's my man and I want out. It's said that she had refused to leave her hotel room, like going on strike. She's like, I am not going to continue filming. So the producers, they really had to scramble, and they brought Tayshia in to take Claire's place. Now, we know Tayshia from Colton's season, who, in my opinion, was such a terrible bachelor, and I am happy that now Tayshia is the one in control. Again, this is nothing against Colton. I just didn't think he was a great bachelor. But more on that at another time. Tayshia was also a favorite in last summer's season of Bachelor in Paradise, where she was torn between Derek Peth and John Paul Jones. She chose to pursue a relationship with JPJ, and the two continued dating off the beach, but then shortly ended their relationship. Tayshia was in talks to be Bachelorette from the beginning, but in an attempt to bring older people into the mix, a lot of the most recent seasons of The Bachelor, Bachelorette really drew in this younger crowd. They wanted to bring in older people, so let's go with Claire. She's 39. So we're going to bring in older men and kind of do like a little reset for the franchise. So Claire made her first appearance in the franchise back in 2014. Since then, we've seen Claire on Bachelor in Paradise seasons 1 and 2, and also in Winter Games, where she ended up being engaged to Benoit, and then the two ended up breaking up a few months later. I will say that people weren't too thrilled when she was announced to be Bachelorette, but how is her journey any different than Nick Viall, right? He was on 2 seasons of The Bachelorette, Andy and Caitlin, and they were back-to-back seasons, by the way. And he was prepared to propose both times. Come on now. And then he went on Bachelor in Paradise, and then he was asked to be the Bachelor. So I'm not nagging on what Nick did. I think he played, quote, the game rather well. So, Claire, same thing, let the girl live. So I have no hate for Claire. A lot of people keep saying, oh, she had her chance on the show. Okay, so did Nick, but we all love him now. And look at all of the amazing women that came from Nick's season. Hello, Rachel Lindsay. Love you, girl. That being said, Claire, you shouldn't have given up on the season. I'm sure there are so many leads that would have loved to end the show early, but you signed a contract and you're getting paid. Do your job. Oh, man, if only I had your job. Colton tried to do this on his season, but the ending of the season of his wasn't mutual. It's not like, oh, me and Cassie are so in love, I went out. It was more of Cassie wanted out and Colton had a fit and just ran away. So I'm curious how the edit is going to go for Claire. I wonder if it's going to be this big, empowering edit, or if the show is going to show producers begging and pleading for her to come out of her room. So I'm very, very anxious and curious to see what they're going to do with that. But Tayshia, who I think would have had a chance later down the road, she is smart, beautiful. She is going to do an amazing job. I'm a little sad to see her start mid-season, so I'm curious to see how this will play out. I don't think she deserves the leftovers of Claire's season, but Tayshia has the personality to really pull this off. So when Chris Harrison says that this is going to be the most dramatic season yet, he will not be lying. A teaser promo for the season has come out, 2 of them that I've seen so far, and they are so mysterious and so fun. Both promos that I've seen are very behind the scenes looking. So you see in one promo, there is a shot of a screen monitor, but you can't really see who's on that screen. The other promo is a shot of a camera on a crane, following someone walking, that someone being our Bachelorette, but you can't really make out who it is. And in the final shot, we see the Bachelorette logo come in, it is this silhouetted image. So it's very creative. So like, go creative team. I think the people who weren't going to watch because it's Claire are now going to be tuning in, not just because it's Tayshia, but also to see how all of this kind of, unravels on our screen. Do I think that this was all planned for ratings? No. Do I think that this will work out in the show's favor? Absolutely. Franchise alums have been giving statements of encouragement about the switch. Ali Fedotowsky calls the shakeup amazing. Colton Underwood tweeted, "Congrats, Tayshia Adams. Good luck, and I hope you find yourself a better kisser." This is, of course, making light of the time that Tayshia called Colton a bad kisser. Rachel Lindsay, one of my favorites, did an in-depth comment. She gave it to Entertainment Tonight saying, "When I stepped in as Bachelorette, I wanted to pave the way for more diversity, for more people who look like me and who didn't look like the typical leads. So to see another Bachelorette of color, I am thrilled. I've been fighting for inclusion, and I've said before that Tayshia would be an excellent Bachelorette, so I'm more than happy to pass the torch. I am so excited to see what she's going to do, how she will represent herself and her journey to find love. Now she's in the driver's seat, and I'm excited to see her get this opportunity." Tayshia's ex, JPJ, commented, "I'm really happy and excited for her in this new journey. I hope she finds love and happiness. I hope that she finds the love and happiness that she deserves." And Evan Bass, another fan favorite, came in with the joke, "The world. The Bachelor franchise is ridiculous. You can't find love in a month or two. Claire, hold my beer." So that's very cute, very Evan, very on brand. So this season, I cannot wait for it to air. It's going to air on Tuesday nights instead of Monday. The exact date has yet to be released at the time of this recording. So wow, that is some big Bachelorette news. I won't be reporting moving forward any spoilers from Tayshia's journey. This is a spoiler-free podcast. I don't consider this a spoiler. I mean, you're just finding out who the next Bachelorette is, just like we did a few months ago. So I don't consider this a spoiler. I did not tell you who Claire picked, even though you can just Google that on your own. And I'm not telling you what other sources are saying happened. I'm just saying we have a new Bachelorette. It is Tayshia, and I believe she is going to do a phenomenal job. Coming up, we're going to talk about how celebrities are just dominating the makeup and skincare market, as well as some truly shocking celebrity news that include the food god, Dr. Dre, and more. And at the end, I am honoring this big Bachelorette news by giving you my top 5 favorite seasons of The Bachelorette of all time. So, BRB.
Want to find out what movies to go see? Then check out the GSMC Movie Podcast. It's your ticket to the latest movies, whether it's a new blockbuster event, romantic, comedy, or action flick. This show has got it all covered. They talk some what to go see now. Don't bother. What's hot on Netflix and everything in between. That's GSMCpodcast.com/movie-podcast. When it's all about the movies, it has to be this new show. Don't forget to like them on Facebook and follow them on Twitter. Visit GSMCpodcast.com for more info.
And welcome back, my friends. Can you believe that during the break, my husband handed me an espresso? So if I am talking too fast during this segment, you know why. I mean, my heart palpitations are just crazy right now. Anyway, so we just finished talking about the Bachelorette Shakeup. It's going to be so much fun. It's going to be so much fun to watch. I'm really, really excited. But now I think it's time that we move on and talk about some Selena Gomez news. And we're going to talk about makeup and skincare because it all kind of ties together. Why? Because Selena Gomez has announced the official launch date of her beauty line. September 3rd, you can find Raw Beauty at Sephora. She is joining the ranks of many other celebrities. As we all know, or as we should know by now, Rihanna just launched her much-anticipated skincare line, Fenty Skin. I couldn't get my hands on some, but my neighbor did, and that stuff smells amazing. He actually let me use it and try it, and this is not an ad. I love it. The smell and feel was just so luscious and luxurious, and I mean, she did a great job. That minimalist, sleek, and modern packaging is on point. I'm pretty jealous that he gets to use it twice a day, and I'm sitting here with my drugstore products. But here we are. This is life. But anyway, back to celebrities and their makeup brands. As I said, Selena is joining the ranks of others, such as Kylie Jenner, for example, who revolutionized selling makeup by introducing to us the lip kit. From there, Kylie Cosmetics has branched to blushes, eyeshadow palettes, bronzers, highlighters, powders, you name it, she's got it. And then, as if that wasn't enough, she also launched Kylie Skin, which is what you need to take off all of her makeup. Her skin set comes with like a foaming face wash, a walnut face scrub, toner, vitamin C serum, moisturizer, eye cream. She also has makeup wipes, body lotions, lip scrubs, makeup remover wipes. I mean, which I said twice. I mean, that's just the espresso talking right now. So now she's also releasing a clarifying set. I mean, this woman is non-stop. She is pumping out the products left and right. We also have her famous sister, Kim Kardashian West, with KKW Beauty. I mean, she is the nude collection queen. Not only does she have makeup products for your face, but she has makeup products for your entire body. We also have Millie Bobby Brown of Stranger Things, who launched Florence by Mills, which is aimed for Gen Z beauty buyers. Jessica Alba has The Honest Company. Gwyneth Paltrow, I mean, her luxury wellness brand, Goop, also sells beauty products. I mean, you can get her Goop Glow for a small price of $125. A little bit out of my price range, but I mean, you go, Gwyneth. Drew Barrymore also has a line, Flower Beauty, which aims to bring quality products at affordable prices to your local Walmart. I mean, we also have Kat Von D. So she is a makeup artist who began a vegan beauty line. She also joins the ranks with Victoria Beckham Beauty. I mean, why not? And then Madonna with MDNA, which sells very expensive Italian-sourced products. We have Nikki Reed with Bayou with Love. We have, of course, Cindy Crawford with Meaningful Beauty, which she sells via infomercials. There's also Jaclyn Hill, the YouTube star. I mean, when her eyeshadow palette came out, it basically broke the internet. I think everybody I know who loves makeup has this eyeshadow palette. We have Paris Hilton, a reality star, socialite, and DJ. She has Pro DNA. Literally, these are just naming a few. I mean, it feels like every celebrity has a makeup or a skincare line. But let's just get back to Selena. Selena, congratulations. You have officially joined the celebrity, quote, passion project. But seriously, if you want to sell makeup, just be a celebrity or a YouTube star. I mean, look at Jeffree Star and James Charles. Is starting a makeup brand an accomplishment? Of course it is. Is it groundbreaking? I might get a lot of heat for this, but no. I mean, if you're a celebrity, you have a beauty brand. It just goes hand in hand these days. I think someone like Kylie did it really, really well. Her lip kit, like I said, was revolutionary, and it was all about how she would market it and the build up for it. Are there better brands on the market, according to many beauty experts? Yes, there are. But again, it's the marketing. She knows how to hit her target audience, and she does a great, great job at it. Yes, she has the advantage of the family name, but from a business standpoint, she just nailed it. I really think that she created a brand that will last, kind of like an Estee Lauder, you know? I mean, down the road, we will see Kylie Cosmetics, I believe, our entire lives, our children's lives, grandchildren. She created a brand that'll last. Hurts me a little bit to say, but she did. Good for her. I'm very proud of her. But again, we're getting off topic. Let's get back to Selena Gomez. Another thing that Selena has going for herself, other than this beauty line, is she's also launching a cooking show on HBO Max. The concept of the show is pairing her with some other, with top-tier culinary artists and cooking something yummy. I mean, cool. Apparently, HBO was inspired by watching Selena trying to improve her kitchen skills during quarantine, like literally everybody else, and decided, oh, how cute, let's offer her a show. I mean, hello, HBO, I'm here. I want to do a show. I can cook. I practice cooking during quarantine. Like, I'm fun and quirky, and I can give you good television. I mean, I'm just in the suburb of Philadelphia while Selena Gomez, a singer, a very good singer at that, has a makeup line and a cooking show. I'm not bitter. I'm not bitter at all, I swear. It's just the caffeine talking. But I have to stop talking about this before I get upset and my heart explodes because of all the caffeine and a little bit of the jealousy in my system. But we're going to switch gears really quick, and I just want to touch on this topic really fast. Speaking of food, I have some news about Food God. I mean, it's actually kind of scary and sad, but Kim Kardashian's best friend, Jonathan Cheban, also known as Food God, was robbed at gunpoint in New Jersey the other day. And listen, Food God is not my favorite TV personality in the world. I mean, to me, he is nothing more than just Kim Kardashian's friend. But it's still incredibly scary, and nobody deserves this. Reports claim that he was walking with his mom and his friend in Englewood Cliffs, New Jersey, when the alleged incident took place. The alleged robber made off with his $250,000 watch after pointing a gun at his mother's head. Oh my gosh, that is so scary. The responding officers tracked the suspects with the K-9 unit. However, the search yielded negative results for the suspects, weapons, or proceeds from the robbery. So this comes 4 years after Kim Kardashian West was robbed in Paris, where the robbers took off with a $4 million ring. So super scary. We hope that Jonathan, or Food God, and his mother and his friend, they're all okay. I'm sure they're very, very shaken up, but at the end of the day, they are okay. It was a watch. It can be replaced despite the cost of it. But I hope they're okay. And I hope they find whoever did this. We don't want this alleged robber on the loose. Who knows what other damage can be done. But with that, we are going to take a quick break. When we come back, we have some more celebrity shocking news. That was just a little taste into the shocking news to come. Some more shocking news, some gossip, and at the very end, I am going to give you my top 5 favorite seasons of The Bachelorette of all time. Stay tuned, my friends. You're not going to want to miss it.
Tired of searching the vast jungle of podcasts? Now listen close and hear this out. There's a podcast network that covers just about everything that you've been searching. Hey! The Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network is here. Nothing less than a podcast bliss with endless hours of podcast coverage. From news, sports, music, fashion, cooking, entertainment, fantasy, football, and so much more. So stop lurking around and go straight out to the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network. Guaranteed to fill that podcast itch. Whatever it may be. Visit us at www.gsmcpodcast.com. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter and download us on iTunes, SoundCloud, and Google Play.
Hi friends, welcome back. Let's keep pushing forward with these stories, shall we? I mean, we've had Bachelorette drama, we've talked about Selena Gomez and her accomplishments, no matter how jealous I am of them, and we have started talking about some shocking news, so let's just keep going with the whole shocking news theme. Let's start off with Dr. Dre. Oh boy, this isn't good. So Dr. Dre and Nicole Young are getting a divorce, and she is not going without a fight. I mean, she wants what's hers. Nicole is challenging the prenup. That's right, there is a prenup in place, and Nicole ain't having it. She is claiming that Dr. Dre is worth $1 billion. Yes, that is billion with a B. $1 billion, and she wants what's hers. She claims that she didn't even want to sign the prenup papers to begin with when they got married. Quote, "I was extremely resistant, and afraid to sign the agreement and felt backed into a corner. Given the extraordinary pressure and intimidation by Andre, I was left with no option but to hire a lawyer, of course, with the help of Andre's team of professionals, and unwillingly signed the agreement very shortly before our marriage." She claimed also that 2 years into the marriage, Andre felt ashamed of having her sign the papers and tore up multiple copies of this prenup agreement, and they both understood at the time that the contract was null and void. Oh, what a predicament. The prenup, she is entitled to spousal support, but distribution of property would be governed by the prenup agreement. But they had not a lot back then and quite a lot right now. Dr. Dre is, of course, claiming that he never tore up the papers. So this will turn pretty messy, I believe. I don't know exactly how messy. I mean, I don't know if someone wants to educate me on this, but a prenup is a prenup, and how do you get out of that? I imagine it's airtight. I mean, how you signed it, that's your signature. It doesn't matter if you didn't want to sign it, you still signed it, right? So I'm very curious how this is going to play out. I'm not going to lie. If I were in her position, I probably would do the same thing. I mean, at least try to get a piece of that pie. But I don't know if she's going to get it. In my opinion, I don't think she would. But then again, I'm not a lawyer. I do not know. I hope this isn't messy, and I hope they can just end their marriage and let it be over and done with, and everyone can just move on. So that is my 2 cents on that. Next, we have to take a moment and address the Ellen drama. I know. It is everywhere. We cannot escape it, and neither can I. We have to talk about it, so let's quick talk about it. I'm not going to go over everything that's been going on from the beginning. I will say, though, before I dive in, is I really wonder if if it wasn't this like, pandemic and everything in the entertainment world has been more of a slower news cycle, if this story would have gained as much traction. I mean, there's always been these whispers of Ellen not being very nice, but they were always just like side piece stories. We kind of like mention it, but we never really focused on it. Now, since there's not as much going on, we have much more time to devote into this story. So I'm wondering if time just really isn't on Ellen's side right now. But so that is my little 2 cents on why this is going down the way that it is. I really think it has to do with not much happening. So this floats to the top and becomes one of the biggest news stories the past few weeks. So it's been revealed that that Katy Perry, Scooter Braun, and Kevin Hart are among the few celebrities to speak up in support of Ellen DeGeneres. Ellen's wife, Portia, broke her silence with an Instagram post with a sad little graphic that says, "I stand by Ellen." I haven't seen any other big hitters repost the same graphic, which speaks volumes. It's all I need to hear or see. I wonder if Portia wanted that post to go viral. In that case, if she did, it totally backfired. I mean, part of the allegations made against Ellen is that if you weren't a big A-list celebrity, then she wouldn't give you the time of day. So the fact that, it's these A-listers showing support, supports the allegation. Brad Garrett from Everybody Loves Raymond claims that the mistreatment by DeGeneres is, quote, common knowledge. So, and he also knows other people that would agree with him. So they're not A-listers. So it makes sense that they wouldn't be treated well by Ellen. But then really, like, these are the 3 people that are standing by your side. Like, these 3, where are the Kardashians that are always on the show? They haven't said anything. Or like Justin Timberlake. You have Katy Perry, Scooter Braun, but like, who actually respects him after what he did to Taylor Swift? And Kevin Hart. Those are, they're your backup dancers. It's wild, but the hashtag replace Ellen has been trending on Twitter with fans suggesting who should take her place if she doesn't return to the talk show. There's been many conflicting. She's under contract. She has to come back. Oh, she's not leaving the show. Yes, she is. No, she's not. Yes, she is. No, she's not. She has to come back. There's no talks of her not coming back. It's a lot. You can't keep up. I don't know exactly what's happening, but I do know that James Corden's name is on this alleged list. So that begs the question is, would he want to give up his nighttime talk show for daytime? He does have a built-in audience with what he does with Carpool Karaoke. If he owns that, if he's allowed to bring that with him, I don't know. It's just the whole Ellen thing. Again, it is a lot. It's a lot to digest. I think another part of this big issue is, how do you come back from this? Like, how does she just get up on stage and go, all right, and here's my next interview subject, whatever. She didn't, it took her way too long to address the claims. She's been very quiet. She hasn't had a lot of backup, which really makes you wonder. Celebrities aren't coming out of the woodwork to defend her, but they are coming out of the woodwork to be like, these allegations are right. Does she deserve to, quote, be canceled? She's at enough celebrity where how do you cancel her? There's no sponsors saying that we don't support her. She didn't do anything other than just be not a nice person. So what are the nice police coming after her? Like, what are the nice police going to do? It's basically everything is just in this court of public opinion, and the public opinion is just not good. Again, she was quiet for far too long. The letter that she penned to her staff, which was then leaked, she took zero responsibility or accountability for any of the actions. It's your name on the product. It's your name on the show. Everything comes from you. You cannot throw anybody under the bus like your producers. Whether you're mean or not, you have to take responsibility for it. End of story. It's your name. It is your brand. You take responsibility. She fails continuously. She fails to do this. So that it's just tone deaf. She has no idea what's actually going on. I don't think there's really any recovering from this. I'm really curious to see if she comes back on stage, if she dances her way through this problem. I don't think so. Again, not a lawyer. I don't know what's going to happen, but the damage is done, and all these allegations exist. They're out on the internet. You're not gonna like swipe it clean. They're there. How are you going to get people to stay employed by you? Apparently it was a high turnover rate anyway. So we'll see what happens with Ellen. So good luck with that. In some more shocking news, Kristin Cavallari reunites with Stephen Colletti after Jay Cutler divorce. Oh my goodness. Okay, so this is a pretty short story, but it has fans a-buzzin'. So Kristin shared a photo on Instagram of herself and Colletti with the caption, 2004 or 2020. I mean, girl, fans are freaking out. If you just look in the comments, she knows what she's doing. Fans are quick to note that the photo is in fact of 2020, since Cavallari is rocking pieces of her jewelry line in the photo. So Cavallari announced her divorce from her husband, Jay Cutler, in April, a little quarantine divorce. So is this the beginning of rekindling a relationship, or are they just friends? Time will tell. I don't know. I think they're going to get back together. I mean, I could be wrong, but why else would you post this picture if you know all the attention that it's going to get? Which, actually, now that I really think about it, she knows this post would get her headlines. I mean, here we are talking about it. So maybe she just wants the press. Well, she got whatever she wanted, so go girl. Whether you just wanted attention or if you wanted the man, you got both. So here we are. Whatever it is, yay. I'm glad you got what you wanted. And lastly, in the shocking news segment of the podcast, the much anticipated live action movie of Mulan will be skipping the theater release and going straight to Disney+. Now, I know what you're thinking if you're a Mulan fan. You think, oh, that's great. I'm already streaming to Disney+ because I started streaming when Hamilton came out. So now I get to just watch it. No, not going to work like that. It's not going to be streaming directly into your home. You will still have to rent it. So starting on September 4th, you can rent Mulan for $29.99. The film was set to open in theaters in March, but of course that did not happen. This COVID-19 really did a number on the entertainment world. So it did not open. I hope that people will rent the film at this price. The movie theater world is really, really taking a hit with everything going on. $29.99, like $30. I mean, it's not a bad price. I think like right away when you just see, oh, rent it for $30. That's crazy. But when you really like break it down and think about how much it costs to go to the movie theater by the time, like say you're a family of 4 and you get 4 tickets alone, I mean, that's over $30 plus concessions. So again, one might say, oh, to rent $30 to watch it in my home is nothing. But again, when you're comparing it to how much it costs to go out, it's really not that bad. The estimated budget for the film was $200 million. So that does make me nervous. I really hope that Disney can make their money back with this one. I know a lot of people were really excited for it. I don't know if watching this film on the small screen will have as much of an impact as watching it on the big screen. I know those battle scenes would have looked amazing in the theater and the surround sound. However, they took the musical aspect of the original cartoon version out. So I'm wondering if that is now going to kind of hurt them. Like, it's not like this fun musical that you can sit and watch with the kids. it's now the story of Mulan and this war movie, and I don't know if it's going to be as family friendly as it could have been, or now it's just going to be strictly nostalgic millennials tuning in to watch. So I'm really curious to see how that's going to play out. So I'm always rooting for a Disney movie, and I really hope that it was all worth it, all $200 million worth it. I'm going to be honest, I don't know. Oh, this makes me nervous. So anyway, I need to stop thinking about that. The more I think about it, the more I get nervous. And we all know I've had a lot of caffeine, so heart is a racing. So that is your shocking celebrity news. I mean, we have Food God, we have Dr. Dre, we have Cavallari, we have the movie of Mulan. I mean, that covers a lot. And plus we had all this Bachelorette talk. Oh my goodness. That is all of your news that you just have to know. But I'm telling you what you have to know more of. You're going to have to stay tuned and listen to my top 5 favorite seasons of The Bachelorette. So if you are new to the Bachelor franchise and you want to know what some of these older seasons were like, I'm going to tell you. I know Chris Harrison has been doing that every Monday night recently, giving you the greatest of all times. Well, I'm going to give you my greatest of all times of strictly The Bachelorette. And these are my opinions. I think they're pretty spot on. So you're going to have to stay tuned, take a listen, and let me know if you agree. But until then, be right back.
Golden State Media Concepts bring you Book Review Podcast, a haven for bookworms of all ages and the widest genres, from mystery to memoirs, romance to comedy, fantasy to sci-fi. If you love to read, this is the podcast for you. It's the Golden State Media Concepts Book Review Podcast.
And welcome back, friends. If you haven't been able to tell by now, I am your resident Bachelor expert. I have been a fan of the show since the very beginning. Andrew Firestone is my favorite Bachelor. Actually, last year, and this is probably one of the most exciting things that ever happened to me, that's kind of sad, but it really is super exciting as a Bachelor fan. I mentioned on an Instagram comment that Andrew Firestone was my favorite, and both Andrew Firestone and Bob Guiney responded to me. I was so excited. I fangirled so hard. Andrew said how my comment that he was my favorite Bachelor made his day. And then Bob Guiney chimed in with how he agreed with me. And I took a screenshot of it, so I will have it forever. They both acknowledged me. It was so cool. And that's what I love about Instagram, is really staying connected with people that you normally wouldn't. Not stay connected. I'm not saying that we're friends. I mean, maybe one day. But you can connect with people that you otherwise, wouldn't think you can connect with. I mean, when Andrew Firestone's season came on, I never in a million years thought that he would ever acknowledge my existence. And it happened one cold January day in 2019. Anyway, I am getting a little bit ahead of myself. But right now we're talking about the ladies. So I'm going to give you my rundown of not my favorite Bachelors, but my favorite Bachelorettes. Well, their seasons anyway. The first season of The Bachelorette aired in 2003, so there have been 15 seasons since. I thought it would be easy to make this list and to narrow it down, but it was not easy at all. I kind of get my emotions with who's my favorite Bachelorette versus my favorite Bachelorette season confused, but I think I did it. This is my top 5 favorite seasons of The Bachelorette. So coming in at number 5, we have Emily Maynard, season 8. This season makes the cut because, one, Emily's story alone made her such a compelling Bachelorette. I mean, she was a great lead. Although she was chosen by Brad Womack, they split shortly after the show. So she wasn't the runner-up. She was the winner of that season. This isn't the first time that would happen where a winner would go on to be the lead, and it wasn't the last, but it makes the season interesting. And then two, like, her backstory is really, really, it's sad. So everyone was really rooting for her. So prior to being on the show, she dated race car driver Ricky Hendricks, who died in a plane crash while on his way to a race. He and other people, I think there was like 9 others. It was a pretty packed private plane. And Emily at the time, obviously devastated. She had no idea that she was pregnant with their child. So she learned of her pregnancy right after his death. So because of her story, everyone was really, really rooting for her. So that is one reason. Also, I really loved the locations during her season. They were so dreamy. She went to Bermuda, London, Croatia, Prague, Curacao. I mean, she might have had the best locations of any of the Bachelorettes, in my opinion. I think when I think of her season, I think of when her and Jeff in Prague went to like this puppet store. It was just so beautiful, out of a storybook, and then her engagement location in Curacao, just breathtaking. So when I think of her season, I just think of it as being very dreamy and beautiful, and I just wanted nothing but happiness for her. She totally, totally deserved it. This season gave us men like Chris Bukowski, Sean Lowe, and Ari Ludendijk. She ended up picking Jeff, which at the time is probably who I would have picked as well, but I'm not saying that was the smartest pick. I mean, we learned that later. The relationship with Jeff ultimately did not work out, but that's okay. You don't have to be successful with your ending relationship. That is not a prerequisite to make the list. So number 5, Emily Maynard. Number 4, Deanna Pappas, season 4. I love this woman. She is one of my favorite bachelorettes, and she also had one of my favorite seasons. I just have a girl crush on her since Brad Womack season. Again, someone from Brad Womack season. I think she's absolutely stunning. She is beautiful. She carries herself with such grace, and she looks like she had a lot of fun filming her season. Very well spoken. Just she had a good season, and this was the season that gave us Jason Mesnick, and she still picked Jesse Sisnak over him. Jesse. She picked Jesse over Jason Mesnick. Jesse was different than a lot of the other men. He was a snowboarder from Colorado. So like he was like the bad boy. He was cool and edgy. I mean, not actually a bad boy, just a bad boy in comparison to Jason Mesnick, if you know what I mean. So although she didn't stay with Jesse for very long, she still kind of ended up with someone in the Bachelor family. She is now married to Steven Stagliano, whose twin brother Michael was on Jillian Harris's season of The Bachelorette. So small world, fun fact. I love her. I love her and Steven together. They are very funny. They're just a cute couple goals. Love them. Number 3, we have Hannah Brown, season 15. I know some of you might be rolling your eyes, but Hannah Brown's season, I mean, it was entertaining, and that's all we can ask for a good Bachelor or Bachelorette season. Although I do think Hannah Brown was a little too young to carry the show, she absolutely gave us the entertainment that we needed. She was not afraid to tell someone off. We saw that night 1. Then we later see that with that famous scene with Luke. Her back and forth with Luke was so interesting, like that there was something pulling them together and she just couldn't get out of that relationship. I did yell at the TV screen several times over many Mondays. This was the season that gave us Tyler C. We also got Pilot Pete, who we all loved until his season of The Bachelor, but that's that's another story for another day. I mean, we got Mike. We got so many good people from her season. And then one of the biggest moments of her season that really cements it into my top 5 is the moment where Luke comes back to the rose ceremony after he was already told to go home, and she picks up the stand that holds the roses and just moves it in front of him. Like, she's just so over it. That scene is iconic. I think that scene is better than Colton jumping the fence. And I don't know, my opinion. We also got the shocking ending where she picked Jed over Tyler. I mean, that blew all of our minds. And I think not only were our minds blown because we kind of already knew the outcome. We already knew as the show was airing that Jed had a girlfriend. Just in general, if you were to watch that season without knowing, how terrible at the time Jed was, how did she pick Jed over Tyler? That's crazy. Or even Pilot Pete's. Come on. What was it? 5 times in a windmill? I don't know. But anyway, that season, every week I looked forward to it. It was entertaining. There were twists and there were turns. And for that, it makes the list. Number 2, we have Kaitlyn Bristowe with season 11. This season started famously with 2 bachelorettes. We had Kaitlyn and we had Britt. And the men had to choose who they wanted as the bachelorette. So when they got out of the limo, they had Kaitlyn, they had Britt, they said hello to both, and they went into the cocktail party. And then throughout the night, the men would go into, I'm assuming, what used to be the deliberation room. So any bachelorette fans that have been watching for a long time, you know what I'm talking about. So they would go into the deliberation room and they would put a rose in a box that had like Kaitlyn's face or Britt's face. And then at the end of the cocktail party, Chris Harrison would be like, all right, time to choose our bachelorette. And he would count the roses. Ultimately, we got Kaitlyn Bristowe as our bachelorette, and she did not disappoint. She was a very fun bachelorette, very different. She wasn't like this prim and proper woman. She drank whiskey. They hung out with Jimmy Kimmel. She had so much fun in her season. She was really down to earth, really funny. Her laugh was infectious. But that's not all. That also gave us the drama with Nick Viall. He came in on the 5th episode. That is really far into the season. The men were not thrilled by this, especially Sean Booth. The tension between Nick and Sean the remainder of the season was, you could cut it with a knife. They absolutely despised each other, and you really saw how conflicted Kaitlyn was between the 2 men. But other men that came from this season are real Bachelor Nation staples. This season gave us Ben Higgins, Jared Habon, Chris Strandberg, aka Cupcake, who, by the way, I would love to see him as the Bachelor one day. So I do hope that he's happy and in a relationship, but I also wouldn't be mad if he was our Bachelor. We also got Tanner Tolbert from that season. So it was a great season. She had great men. It was compelling. It was sad. We laughed. We cried. It was better than Cats. And then numero uno, we have number 1, the queen, the OG, Trista Wren, now Trista Sutter. So seasons back then were much, much shorter. And Trista did find love on her season of The Bachelorette. This was also the very first season of The Bachelorette. She was the runner-up on season 1 of The Bachelor. And they chose her to be our first leading lady. at the time when the concept of the show was very taboo. Ooh, a woman dating a bunch of men and kissing a bunch of men. How dare she? She really paved the way for all bachelorettes after her. She knew what she wanted and she got it. Trista and Ryan fell in love, and now the Sutters are living in Colorado with their 2 beautiful children. All the other bachelorettes look to her for advice. I mean, she just is a rock in the franchise, and we have no choice but to respect. So, ladies and gentlemen, those are my top 5 seasons of The Bachelorette. I hope that you enjoyed this episode. We talked about so much. The caffeine is actually wearing off, so now I'm getting tired. So until next time, this is the GSMC Entertainment Podcast brought to you by the GSMC Podcast Network. I would like to ask you to please remember to subscribe to the show and write a beautiful, glowing review that really helps us out. Also, if you can please follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, I'd really appreciate it. So you guys have a great day. Thank you. Whatever time of day you're listening to this, I'm just going to say good night and goodbye.
You've been listening to the Golden State Media Concepts Entertainment Podcast, part of the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network. You can find this show and others like it at www.gsmcpodcast.com. Download our podcast on iTunes, Stitcher, SoundCloud, and Google Play. Just type in GSMC to find all the shows from the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network. From movies to music, from sports to entertainment, and even weird news. You can also follow us on Twitter and on Facebook. Thank you, and we hope you have enjoyed today's program.